Hi everyone, welcome back to e-commerce success by Ad360. Yesterday we reviewed a very nice website, but which had some trouble converting users. The business owner very kindly responded and gave us some additional info, data, and some comparisons month over month. So we're going to dig into the numbers and try to understand what's going on. Thank you, Liz, very much for sending detailed figures, for responding to the video. I'm super happy we can start conversation. I hope we can help you achieve your goals and sell more, have a big business and grow your store. If you like this content, please like, comment below, subscribe to the channel. All these things really help us grow and reach out to more business owners and help as many people as possible be happy, productive, and successful. This video is brought to you by Ad360. Ad360 is the easiest way to start advertising all over the web besides social media and Google. And you can just in one click generate ads that are going to run on relevant websites, and for a fraction of the cost you can bring qualified visitors to your website, but more on that at the end of the video. Okay, so today we're going to review the response. So Liz responded, so she's the business owner that's behind this website that we reviewed yesterday. By the way, congrats on already making some changes on the website. I love it. I think this image is really nice with the flowers. And you changed this text as I advised. And now one little thing, I'm not sure I said it yesterday, but take everything I say with a grain of salt, as you should do with anybody on the internet who tells you something. At the end of the day, what you should be doing is test things out, try it on your website, compare the numbers. If it works out, that's great. If it doesn't work out, change, try something different, iterate. At the end of the day, I'm just someone on the internet giving you advice. This is based on my experience and my, expertise and years of working with businesses to help them do better. But at the end of the day, the person who's right is your customer and your customer only. So depending on your business, your vertical, your, the persona, the type of customers you're selling to, you have to adapt. But I'm happy you took my advice to your heart and already made some changes. So I think it's more clear now what you're doing. Be careful as to not make people think you're selling flowers, but I think with the text it might be better. This is a bit better formatted. I think it's easier to read. Feel free to just maybe underline some words or use some boldness sometimes to make some things stand out. I like this one, like fresh air is good for your soul, little white interior is good for your home. So maybe you can bold this or something like that and make it super clear. Even if people are not going to read this text, they can still get something out of it. They will scan, their eyes will, pick some elements and, they will unconsciously still get something out of the text, right? Super cool. Maybe also like country style, living into a home, something like that, just so that they can see what the business is all about. Okay. But really cool. I like this very much. And as I said yesterday, your website is really well made. I think it's an example for a lot of businesses that are starting. They should look at what you're doing because you're telling your story. You have very nice pictures. You have these testimonials. You have your Instagram plugged in a very smart way, very beautiful. With nice content, so you're doing a ton of things right, so congrats for that. So now let's get back to the numbers. So I asked yesterday if you could share some additional numbers, and you did, so thank you very much for taking the time to do so. So let's read your message. So you're saying, hi Xavier, that's me. Thank you so much for taking the time to produce such an informative video for me. So the pleasure is mine. I'm super happy you find it helpful. I really appreciate and take on board all of your suggestions, some of which I implemented already. That's really cool. So with regards to my conversion, okay. So I'm not sure how to find this data per 100 visitors. So basically that's what I wanted. You gave me the rate in percentage, so that's what I wanted. So that's great. So what you do know, so for the last 30 days, your conversion rate is 0.6%. So 0.6%. That's below average. That's not great, to be honest. So you're right that there's something wrong. In average, you should be between 1 and 2%. Now, some studies say 2% is the average for all stores e-commerce, but that also includes websites that have been here for a very long time, with big teams working on their sites, with a lot of marketing, advertising, and a lot of UX optimization. So I think when you're getting started, you have a small business like that, aiming for like 1%, being above than 1% is a good target. If you can get to 2%, that's fantastic. And I've seen some websites even at 3 or 4%, but they're extremely rare, and you need to have a really qualified, targeted audience coming to your website. But aiming for 1% at first is good. If you can be above 1%, that's amazing. So true, being at 0.6% is not great. Now, what's interesting to me is, so these 0.6 correspond to 23 conversions, and let's work backwards. So from these, we call that down funnel towards up funnel. It's going to be easier to analyze. So from these, these 23 conversions come from 50 checkouts. I don't know if you gave us the rate. Yeah, so 1.31%. So this should be higher. It should be around between 2 and 4%. Okay, so you're below average here in terms of checkout rate. But does it mean that too many people add to cart and then they leave without going to checkout? Not really, because you have 116 add to cart, which is about 3%. So that's okay. It's still below average. It should be between like 4% and 8%. So you're a bit below average. But what I'm looking here is the the drop off at each stage, right? And just this is going to be like an exaggeration. These are like rounded up numbers just to have a ballpark idea. But you should be expecting to have about half the people lost at each step. So it's to be expected. It's normal. So if you have like about 25 conversions, I would expect 50 checkouts. That's normal. And from 50 checkouts, I would expect about 100 add to carts. So you have a bit more of a drop off between add to cart and checkout, but not too much more than what I would expect on average. And these are small, sample sizes, numbers. They're not like thousands and thousands. So I don't know if we can take any statistically relevant conclusions from that. So I would say this is pretty normal. So your problem, so you have a low conversion rate of 0.6%, but you're not losing more people than the average between the checkout and the conversion, and you're not really losing that much more than average from the add to cart to the checkout. So to me, this is a signal that the biggest problem is not actually with the checkout or the conversion process, it's the add to cart. So this one, which is at 3%, this one should be between 4 and 8%. So this is where you can really progress, in my opinion. Now you can always make some changes in the checkout, make the page simpler, quicker to load, a few things like that. Highlight your return policy and making sure people have all guarantees, they know it's safe. And you can always make small tweaks and adjustments to maybe reduce a bit that drop-off rate. But again, it's pretty normal to have about half the people from the add to cart that drop off and about half the people at the checkout process that drop off too. So between the add to cart and the conversion, you have 2 times 2. So, you have a factor of 4. So this means that 3 out of 4 people will be lost, and that's completely normal. So you have about 75% of your add to carts that are going to be lost in the process. That's completely normal. But you're between 4 and 5 in terms of ratio. So you're a bit, above, which is less good. So you should have a multiplier of 4 between the conversions and the add to cart, ideally. Lower if you can, but it's a bit higher, but okay. So the biggest problem is, why are too few people adding to cart? So why could that be the case? Could be that people are not finding the products easily enough, so they have to navigate too much. So when they're here, they have to click here, and then they're here, and then they have to click on the product, and then they can add to cart or buy it now. Let's have a look what's going on if I add to cart. Okay, and then I can go to checkout. Let's make sure this, okay, let's go through the whole process. Okay, pretty normal. It's taking a little while to load, but okay. Maybe this image needs to be optimized, I'm not sure. Let's look at that maybe another time, but okay. There's no major red flag. Let's look at somewhere else on the website. If I want to click here on this one, I have a collection, okay, and I have different products. I click here, okay, and too few people add to cart. So the navigation is not really problematic. I don't think that's really a problem. So what you need to do, I think still what I said yesterday, I know it's going to take a very long time, but for each product you should be adding more detail. I think maybe too few people add to cart because they don't really have enough information. They don't really understand what the product is, or even if they understand, you need to give them more reasons to buy it. I say usually the 2 golden rules of marketing, and I made a video about this, is 1, make it easy for people to buy your product, and 2, give them more reasons to buy your product. So here you should be adding more information, stories, and people will, often they won't buy the cup. They're not interested in the cup. They will buy the nice decoration, a way to impress their family, friends, colleagues, a way to be happier when they have some tea, right? So they're not buying the cup in itself. They're buying everything else that comes with it. The stylus, the nice decoration, just being, it can be also like it's not necessarily outwards, it can be just being satisfied with having, nice tableware. So, but, you need to say these things. I think you need to give more reasons to people to buy this. Say, with this, you're going to be, you're going to enjoy your tea much more, something like that. Just to give you a dummy example. But I think you need to do that more. Another thing you could do is highlight some more products on the homepage. Right now, you just have these 4 little products that you can buy. And the image are super small compared to the other stuff. Now, it may be on purpose, but you might want to consider adding maybe at the bottom, maybe below the Instagram, like a bestseller product or a product you really like, you want to highlight, that you can buy directly from the homepage. You don't have to, but I know a few people that have done that, and that increased the add to cart rate because you don't have to navigate the site too much to find something nice, and you can directly buy it if you like it so much, But that's just a quick tip. So the first reason people might not add to cart as much is, okay, it's too hard to find products to buy on the website, or navigation is too complex, which doesn't really seem the case on your site. Third, they might not be enticed enough to buy the product. So I think to alleviate that, you can add more information on your product pages. And lastly, I think it might also be that they're not the right people that come to your website. And that's where I want to come back to your message, because you're saying what was the most shocking to me in everything that you said is that all these numbers were down 51% compared to the previous month. So to give a comparison, the month before, so this would have been between mid-March and mid-April, basically, your conversion rate was 1.16%. And now you see this figure is really fine. This is above average. I mean, this is above the 1% threshold that you should aim for as like a starting online business. This is really good. Now you can always do better and strive to reach 2% and plus, but you should be having a really successful business with 1.16%, or at least the potential to do so. And you see the checkout was 2%, so that was okay. So you had like less than 1%, less than half, drop off. And the add to cart to checkout, you also had less than half drop off. So that shows you there's no problem on the website between the add to cart, checkout, and conversion process, which is really good. So to illustrate what I said above. But the problem is still you had like a below average add to cart rate in the previous period. So it should be between 4 and 8%. So you had a slightly above average conversion rate with a below than average added to cart. So this means that the people that came to your website were were warmer prospects, warm audiences, people that already knew you, that maybe you spoke to. So I see you also have a healthy customer return rate. So that's really good. This shows people are happy with your product, they come back. So that's really good. So one hypothesis could be that last month you had an exceptionally high number of orders from returning customers, friends and family, or people you talk to, so warmer than usual audiences, and maybe this month is back to normal where you have more cold audiences than before. Tell us if I'm wrong, if you have more history, because I think you told us at the beginning your website has been around for a long time, since October. So tell me if I'm wrong, was last month exceptionally good, or was these numbers not only like last month but like the last 6 months they've been like that, and the last 30 days are really the exceptionally bad figures? That would be interesting. Now something else that could have happened is just the ads have started to stale, and they're not working as good as they used to, and so the ad click-through rates have started to drop off. What could have happened also is, usually in the first quarter of the year you have less competition on advertising platforms, because a lot of people spend a lot of marketing budgets around Black Friday and the end of the year period, holidays and Xmas and all of that. So, and coming into January, February, March, usually people are spending less money on ads. So the cost per impressions and the cost per clicks, and as a result, the cost per sale and the return ad spend is getting better. And then I think then it tends to become again more competitive towards May, June, and the summer. So that could play a role, that could be a factor. So some ads which could be working fine in the last 2-3 months could have started now being underperforming. So that'd be interesting to see. If you can share more details about the evolution of your ads, like how much you're spending each month, what's your average cost per impression, so CPM, average CPC. Was there a big difference in numbers, like a big decline in results from the ads themselves? I think Shopify also, now these figures may not be trusted all the time, but Shopify gives you a breakdown of sales that come from advertising versus those that come from something else. What else can I tell you? Yeah, I think if you want to give it a try, so you said you're interested in understanding more about Ad360. So the way Ad360 works, it's a simple technology on the App Store of Shopify. You can download it. There's a free trial, 14 days, and you can. And after that, it's just $19 per month. And what Ad360 is going to do is it's all automatically going to create advertising banners for your business with your product detail, your product info, the image, the price, and we're going to run these on websites outside of social media and Google. So we're going to find websites where there's much less competition, because on Facebook and Instagram and even Google Ads, everybody's fighting for the same eyeballs, right? And the prices are super high. And it can work. You can make profitable ads with these because they have also good click-through rates, but they're super, super expensive. And sometimes you pay a lot to bring someone to your website. I've seen people paying 3, 4, 5, sometimes more dollars or pounds if you're in the UK to bring someone to your website. And then if you convert at 1%, it's not going to be worth it. Even if they order multiple products, it's not going to be profitable. So what we do is we run ads on our independent websites. And these could be small blogs that talk about home decoration, that talk about countryside, vibe, home interiors, that talk about silverware, blogs made by for passionate people talking about certain topics. And these are potentially much more qualified customers that you can bring at a fraction of the cost to your website. And so maybe the decline in add to cart rate doesn't have anything to do with the website. It's just that the people you're bringing from the social media are not the same anymore. And the problem again with Facebook and Google, you don't really control who's coming to your website. You can target certain audiences, but often they're very broad. Like if you target like a home decoration audience, there can be a ton of different people in this, and it can be hard to know who you're bringing. And so you don't really control, and maybe you're not bringing the right people anymore on your website. That's why there's a decline in add to cart rate. But if you want to take this conversation further, feel free to share even more information if you're comfortable to do this publicly on the Shopify community. Feel free to share even more data, more figures. That would be super interesting, super insightful. If you can share some more figures about historical conversions data to see if last month was exceptionally bad, or if the previous month was exceptionally good, that would be interesting to learn. And if you want to share more info about your ads, so was there a big decline in results in the last 30 days? How are they performing in general? What's your cost per impression, cost per click, cost per conversion? That would be super, super interesting. If you don't want to do that publicly, what I suggest is you can contact me. There's a link in the description to book a call with me, and I'll give you a free consulting call. So we can take a few hours, as much as you need. We'll go through your website, your marketing strategy. We can discuss how you bring customers. I can go through your advertising accounts on Facebook and Google. We can review all of that, your campaign settings, your targeting settings, which audiences you're targeting, and other fine-tuning in the in the geographical targeting of demographics and things like that. So I'd be super happy to help you out. I will do this completely for free. I will not charge you for this service. It's completely free, comes with no strings attached, no commitment. I just want you to be super successful. And of course, if you're super successful and continue to grow, then you're more likely to try our app Ad360 to make even more targeted ads and bring interesting people to your website. So I have an interest in you being successful over the long term. But regardless of whether or not you want to download the app right away, I want to offer you this free consulting call. So feel free to reach out, and I'd be super happy to continue the discussion privately. And any info that you can share that you're comfortable sharing publicly online, I'd be super happy to do follow-up discussions like that on my YouTube channel to give you as much insights and help as I can. I wish you a ton of success. I really like your website, your business, so I really hope it's going to work out and you can get this conversion figure back up again. I wish you a ton of happy customers, and I wish you all the best for your business. Bye.